What's up, guys? User RVC says, Yala, would you make a video on how to deal with internet trolls, please? Yes, I will, RVC. So this is surprisingly, or I guess not surprisingly, but this is definitely something that I know how to do, I think, because I do post videos on here that are somewhat controversial sometimes, and I get a lot of people coming and leaving like a trolling comment on my video. So I will tell you how to do that right now. But first, let me tell you how I learned this really quick, just to kind of fill in some of the gaps. Because I didn't learn this on YouTube, right? I definitely didn't learn on YouTube. The way that I learned this was from two places. The first place was from a website called steemit.com. Okay, so those of you who don't know, I actually, before I was a famous YouTuber, I was actually a famous blogger, famous, but actually kind of famous on that one website. So basically, Steemit is a crypto blogging platform where the idea is that you write a post or you comment or something, and people will upvote if they like it, and if they upvote, those upvotes are actually worth money. It's more complex than that, but that's like the basic idea of what Steemit is. So in 2018, when I had left Australia and had gone to Thailand, my plan was to start making money online. And before I started making videos, I was a writer. I used to write a lot. Like that was like my thing. I wanted to be a writer, and I'd like write all the time. So I found Steemit and I was like, oh wow, I can get paid to blog basically. And there have been some sites that have tried to do this before with actual like real money, but it's never really worked out. So I saw Steemit and I was like, oh cool, like I can get paid to write basically. So the way that I started out very official, very proper, and I would write these articles on Steemit like top 10 cryptocurrency startups that you can invest in right now, or like China just did this with Bitcoin. Like this was when Bitcoin was like really hot, when crypto was like really like starting to heat up, or had been heating up in like the first part of 2018. I guess it was really kind of at the end. Anyway, so as I'm writing these articles, I started to get really bored with writing the same old, like plain vanilla, like dry, like, check out Ethereum, what they did today. It's like I wanted to blow my brains out. It was so stupid. So eventually I started to like unravel and write whatever I wanted to write in these articles. I like injected some of my personality in there. And then one day I realized that you could actually pay for upvotes to get better exposure, right? There's all these big accounts that like if you pay them for upvotes, you'll get the money back basically, or like most of it was the idea, but they'll upvote your content, and then you'll get a better ranking and you get more exposure for your writing. And anybody out there who has been a writer or calls himself a writer or has written anything and tried to publish it online and get any sort of following, you know that your biggest problem as a writer is exposure, right? Like first of all, you need to get people to like see what you've written, and then if you've done that, then like God help you if they actually sit there and read the entire thing. So on Steemit, I basically had this method for writing whatever I wanted and paying to get people to see it basically. So I was flush from all this money that I was making with Bitcoin, and I was like consulting for all these startups, and I had all this money from Australia. I was like rolling in it and stupidly didn't save. But the point is that I had all this money, and I was just like dumping tons of money on paying for these upvotes. Cause like once I saw that I could pay to get my stuff boosted, I just like went out of control. And now that I didn't have to write about these boring like cryptocurrency topics anymore, I could write about what I actually wanted to write about, which is how stupid I thought the site was, and how stupid I thought all the people that used the site were and are still. There's some cool people on there. I know a couple of them watch my videos, but they are like some of the only intelligent people that actually exist over there. Most of the people that use the site are looking for like they're looking for freebies, kind of. They're like, yeah, Steem is the best. Give me $2 for writing that post that says that Steem is amazing. And then the people who have the money, who have the big accounts, would actually upvote them and reward them for that, because they want more content like that on the site, because it keeps everybody there, keeps everybody creating content. So anyway, it's a whole big disaster. And I saw through it like right away, and I was like, I'm just going to call all these people out on their shitty writing. And I'm going to do it in a like 3,000 word post that is like perfectly formatted with perfect grammar and like funny images and is just extremely well written. So like I got really carried away and I was cranking out like 1 or 2 of these a week. And this is to date, this is like literally some of the best writing I've ever done. In my opinion, it's actually amazing. Like sometimes I'll go back and I'll read what I've actually written, and I can't believe that it's me that wrote it. I used to link to it in my descriptions of my videos, but I don't think anybody ever read any of that stuff because like who reads the descriptions of videos? Probably not your average YouTuber. And second of all, like who's gonna go read like a 6,000 word blog post by me from YouTube? Like who cares? You guys are here to watch videos. Anyway, so basically what would happen is I would get a lot of flack from people who had been there for a long time who would call me out and try to troll me in my posts. So I learned this from that, basically. Now, the main thing that I learned, and this is what I've been building up to this entire time, the main thing that I learned is that when you get a comment on a piece of content that you make, I don't think you like RVC, like correct me if I'm wrong, you're not like out there creating content, right? This is like some argument on Facebook. But when I get an argument or whatever the case may be, a Facebook post, whatever, you know, I would notice that when I would leave a post and somebody would leave some like nasty comment or like call me an idiot or like try to disprove what I was trying to say, I would go look at who that person actually was, and 0% of the time would that person ever be like cool or interesting or somebody that I would ever want anything to do with in any sort of personal way. Literally 0% of the time they were actually ever like that. So that's number one that I built up to for the past 5 minutes. Number one, the way to deal with internet trolls is to understand that pretty much 100% of the time, these people that are trolling you are not actually better than you. Most of the time they're losers. Most of the time they're stupid. Most of the time they're not educated really, or like comparatively not educated. Most of the time they're just not intelligent people who, like, if you heard what they said to you in real life conversation, you would not take what they say seriously because they are, I don't want to say non-human, but they're closer to non-human than human, if that makes sense. It's kind of harsh to say, but that's just what I've noticed. Okay, so that's what I learned from CMIT. Now the second thing that I learned, I actually learned this from a pickup instructor called RSD Luke. Now, for those of you who know who RSD is, like, or what RSD is, Real Social Dynamics, it's like this major pickup company that has since moved away from pickup, but for about 20 years, they were like the world leader in teaching seduction to men. They have an instructor there named Luke, and Luke is arguably one of the best at pickup in the world because he has figured out like a systematic approach, right? And I don't want to get into the whole thing, but the point is that his sorry, I need some water. The systematic approach involves what he calls investment game, right? Which is this whole idea that in a conversation or in an interaction, the person who invests less has higher value in that interaction, and the person who invests more has less value. Right. So, for example, how does this play out in like an internet troll, right? So let's say you create this piece of content, you make your post, whatever, and people show up and start to try and troll you. What you do, and they write this big comment and pick out your points and how you're stupid and how you're wrong and like, you know, XYZ, like 5-paragraph essay. What I'll do, and you'll see this in the comment section on some of my older videos, maybe I'll post some screenshots here, is that people will call me out. They'll be like, you're an idiot. You don't know anything. I get a lot of this about the eating disorder stuff. You don't know anything. Are you a doctor? You're not a PhD, blah, blah, blah. And I'll just leave my response to that comment, because I always respond to every single comment that I can. My response will be, okay, cool. You know, because that's a way to clown them, right? Is basically like, you left this super long drawn out comment. It's well thought out. And like, it would almost be better if I didn't respond, right? Because then you could be like, yeah, I didn't respond because like he's scared or like whatever. But instead, what I did is I basically acknowledged it and I was like, okay, man, cool. Like, thanks for saying that. Okay. It's like acknowledging a little kid by dismissing them, if that makes sense. So the second way to deal with internet trolls is to just kind of casually dismiss them, right? Now, occasionally, you will get people who persist and they'll be like, oh, you don't even have an argument for that, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're totally wrong. And they'll just like start calling you out, and they'll really like make it their mission to try and bring you down, like for whatever reason. I've probably done this in the past also. I'm also a terrible person. But what you do in this case, the third option, is to joke them down, right? You want to joke them down. You want to like, you don't want to respond to what they say. This is also something that's taught in pickup where it's called being reactive, right? You don't want to be reactive. If I leave a post or a comment on your piece of content, I say, oh, you're stupid, blah, 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 and here's why, and XYZ, and you respond to me, to my points, you are effectively jumping through a hoop that I've held up for you. You've like said your piece and I've said, oh, okay, cool, jump through this hoop. And if by responding to my questions or my accusations, you actually jump through the hoop, right? So what you want to do is you want to not jump through that hoop. What you want to do is you want to set a new hoop of your own, or just basically say like, screw you, bro, I'm not jumping through your hoop. The best way to do that is through humor. So this will test you to work on your, I guess like funniness, if that makes sense. So basically somebody leaves a mean comment, you respond like some bullshit, and then they respond again. The best thing to do is just kind of like joke them down, right? And the best way to joke somebody down, there's really one way, which is the best, which is agree and amplify. This is another tip from, I guess you could say, the seduction community, but this is from the red pill people, right? And this is very common for when you're dealing with the shit test, right? A shit test is something that when a man is trying to seduce a woman and he's basically, giving her the figurative message of like, I'm cool, I'm interested in you, I'm a cool person, like XYZ, not directly saying that, but just like when a woman senses that a man is being cool, she'll try to like take him down a notch by giving him a shit test, basically is the point. She doesn't realize she's doing it. It's instinctual. We're not like blaming women for being bitches or anything like that. It's just like her knee-jerk reaction that has been created as a result of like evolutionary pressure, because women need to, this is the argument, right? Women need to know that you can at least deal with their bullshit to know that you can deal with like the bullshit of the world, right? So a shit test is where, for example, you'll be talking to a girl and she'll like go flirt with some other guy, or you'll be talking to a girl and she'll like challenge you on some topic, or you'll be talking to a girl and she'll like try and break up with you, right? Well, okay, fine. She'll like not explicitly break up with you and be like, stay away from me. She'll be like, yeah, I don't know, like you're not really my type, kind of thing. It's like weird, like wishy-washy, like she's just like floating it out there to test you. So agree and amplify. What do you do in this situation? Somebody calls you out in a post, right? And they say, blah, 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 you said this, you did that, you're not really all that, that rhymes. Cool, I'm a rapper now. Oh my God. Anyway, the point is that you agree and amplify, right? It's a good way to like make a joke out of anything that anybody is saying. So you agree with whatever they're saying. You say, you know what, you're absolutely right. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And I also have like apparently 3,000 subscribers on this channel that are also really stupid and have no idea what they're talking about either. For example, I've never actually used that, in considerate like in a situation like this. But that's the idea, right? Is like agree and amplify. Okay, so that's the third way that you can deal with these people. And the fourth way, this is really the last resort, right? The last resort is to basically give the message to be like, okay, dude, like, why are you getting so angry? Just chill. Like, it's okay. It's not a big deal. We disagree. It's fine. And this is also like, this is kind of, everything comes back from pickup, I guess, but it's really effective communication, because a lot of the times when you're talking to new people that don't know you, you will have one member of the group that challenges you in some way. And occasionally, and I learned this from sales, occasionally you'll get people who repeatedly challenge you because for whatever reason, it really comes down to them not being included. Like you made a mistake along the way and made them feel not included. But occasionally attempts to make them feel included will fail and they'll still want to take you down for whatever reason. So in situations like this, where people are like repeatedly not accepting your offer to include them or to compromise in the agreement or argument, let's say, what you want to do is you want to kind of give them this like weird look, like in a comment sort of way, and we'll be like, okay, cool, like I'm sorry you're so angry, but like, hopefully you'll get over it, kind of thing. Okay, that is my really roundabout way of saying that these are my strategies for dealing with internet trolls. Was that helpful for you, RVC? I honestly have no idea. Maybe you were talking about something else entirely. But if that was, let me know. Leave me a comment. Do you guys have any other requests for videos? Because like, I don't want to keep talking about how to lose weight in quarantine. It is so boring. Let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.